نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We know that in Islam there are certain acts which are compulsory, fard as we say in Arabic, which are the ritual acts that most of us are familiar with, the praying of 5 times a day, the fasting in the month of Ramadan, the giving of zakat. These acts are compulsory, we learn them as children. And we know that come what may, we must perform these religious acts and we should not avoid them for any reason whatsoever unless there is a legal dispensation or a legal excuse. However, there is a fard after this fard, and that fard is especially for the father, the husband, to provide for his family, to provide for his wife and to provide for his children. Alhamdulillah, we are blessed. Most of us were given the ability to walk, the ability to hold, the ability to use tools, the ability to think, the ability to provide. And we use these abilities, whether we have a particular trade or whether we have a particular skill, in order to seek employment or in order to seek a living. And this is compulsory, compulsory to provide for those who are dependents upon us. And there are restrictions. Obviously, we can't just work in any way, shape or form. There are restrictions of where we can work, what we can do, what we're permitted to work with, what we're not permitted to work with. And therefore, it is a great reward for us in moving in that direction. However, what it shouldn't do is make us independent from Allah, make us think that it is down to my intellect, it is down to the skills that I have that I'm making this living. As we know, when we're still in our mother's wombs, our rizq, our sustenance has already been written for us. And that will come to us no matter what, in whichever circumstances before we pass away, that rizq will reach us. That is our belief. And therefore, we should accept that yes, this is a sabab, yes, this is a cause, a means to achieve it. However, that's something which was already destined for me. And what we shouldn't do is be just sort of sat around waiting for free handouts. So begging was something which the Prophet ﷺ forbade. For example, he saw an able-bodied individual raising his hands collecting. So he said, why don't you take this money, buy yourself an axe, and then go up into the woods and chop yourself some firewood, bring that firewood and sell that. That is better for you than if you ask and sometimes people will give to you and sometimes people will not give to you. That is far better. And therefore, this was something in which the Prophet ﷺ is encouraging him to actually be proactive, encouraging him to do something for yourself, to be independent, to not be dependent upon people. And this asking, as-su'al, became such that it applied to everything. In fact, Sahabi mentions that when the Prophet ﷺ told me not to ask, then I would for money from people, then it got to such a point that if I was to drop my whip whilst I was on the horse, I would get off the horse or get off the mount, the camel, and pick the whip up myself rather than say to someone, pass me that. Because he did not want to be dependent upon people. He wanted to, as the Prophet ﷺ had encouraged him, wanted to be completely free from people. But know that his purpose, that his trust, his tawakkul was on Allah. So when a person makes a niyyah that, oh Allah, I'm going to seek a halal living in order that I do not break your law.